All right, my friends. Let's forget that happened. We'll figure out the wheel. I owe you guys a wheel spin. You got the music. That's half the, at this point, it's a, what do you call it when like, you ring the bell for the dog? It's a Pavlovian response. Yeah, Cosmic, just check out the widget. See if anything weird is happening. It really might just be my OBS. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Sambuga, thank you for the 5 months. Welcome back. I'm glad to have you here. All right. So I owe you guys a wheel spin, but before that, most importantly, we're here for the music. This is Dangerous Game featuring Henk Poort. It's from Jekyll and Hyde. This is with Floor Jansen from her channel. Everyone go subscribe.
Your chilling touch as it runs down my spine, watching your eyes as they invade my soul, forbidden pleasures I'm afraid to make mine. At the touch of your hand, at the sound of your voice, at the moment your eyes meet mine, I am out of my mind, I am out of control, full of feelings I can't define.
It's a sin with no name,
Like a hand in a flame,
and our senses proclaim it's a dangerous game. A darker dream that has no ending, that's so unreal. You believe that it's true. A dance of death out of a mystery tale. The frightened princess doesn't know what to do. Will the ghost go away? Will she will them to stay? I don't wait, there's no way to win.
all I know is I'm lost, and I'm counting the cost. My emotions are in a spin, I don't know who to blame,
It's a crime and a shame.
but it's true all the same.
It's a dangerous game. No one speaks, not one word, but what words are in our eyes.
Silence
Speaks
loud and
clear, all the words we don't want to hear. At the touch of your hand, at the sound of your voice, at the moment your eyes meet mine, I am losing my mind, I am losing control, fighting feelings I can't define.
It's a sin with no name.
No remorse and no shame, fire, fury, and flame.
It's the devil to blame.
And the angels proclaim.
Oh my gosh.
It's a dangerous game.
All right. Settle down, Chuck. Okay. I am so happy to hear this. Jekyll and Hyde's an awesome musical. All of the numbers from there are really awesome. Yes, Prime and I are working on a song from that so that he can sing at his wedding. So I'm very excited about that. And that's I was thinking about it. The music in this show is really, really fantastic. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. What I'm so thrilled about this recording, it's very well done. This is a very well mixed recording. Done in different locations, very well synced up, put together, professionals doing it. They didn't auto-tune Henk Poort's voice. So if you want to hear what it sounds like when they auto-tune him, obviously it's not necessary. There was no need to do it, and it wasn't done here. But if you want to go hear him auto-tune, go listen to the Best Songers recordings. They do that pretty egregiously. For no reason. For no good reason. Anyway, let's start picking apart this vocal performance. Let's do it.
I feel your fingers cold on my shoulder, your chilling touch as it runs down my spine.
Yeah, so there's a really important thing. This has been coming up a lot in my private lessons and in the clinic, that Floor is like being the pinnacle example of doing this well. And a lot of people miss this because it's kind of a counterintuitive thing when it comes to singing, right? When she starts out here,
Cold on my shoulder.
do you hear how she's sustaining those notes, yet they're decrescendoing, right? What 99% of singers I've heard do, that's obviously a little high bit of a number, but when you decrescendo a note, as in you get softer over a period of time, you have to keep the air going. Most of us just like slow the air down. In fact, singing softer sometimes feels like you're using more air than when you're singing louder, right? Keeping the air going feels like you're continually shoving. Yeah, Aedy, go listen to the Best Zongers 2019 recordings, and they auto-tuned his voice. Not that he needed it. When you sing softly, you need to keep moving your air. Floor, at the beginning of this, isn't giving us anything incredibly special. She's saving that. She's an artist. She knows when to pull back to make the big stuff later more important to our ears and more valuable to our ears. So, at this point, she's keeping it soft. Every phrase is closing off. Every phrase is coming down. To do that, she has to keep her air moving. If you don't keep your air moving, the sound just gets tight. Nothing that Floor sings is tight because she's always focused on keeping the air moving, and everything else, volume, dynamics, the vowels, the timbre of the sound, what type of sound she's making, that all happens after the sound is created. But underneath, the through line of voice, that clean thread of sound, is all driven by a constant flow of air. And she breathes, and then she goes. All right. Let's keep it going.
Your chilling touch.
It's small, but
as
it's so
it runs
consistent.
Down my spine, watching your eyes as they invade my soul. Forbidden pleasures I'm afraid to make mine. At the touch of your hand, at the sound of your voice, at the moment your eyes meet mine.
And here's another thing, guys. If we're using Floor as like the pinnacle example of vocal efficiency, notice when she starts amping up the volume a little bit, she starts increasing what she's giving us. She starts adding timbre to the sound, despite the fact that the air is just flowing as it was. She's adding timbre in the sound, and she's articulating much more specifically the text. But what does she have to do that? Yes, her jaw is freely moving around with the sound, but in addition, she has to articulate with her tongue and her lips more, specifically her upper lip. Her lower lip never moves, right? Keep that in mind. When I'm talking to you guys in the clinic, and a lot of my private students, some of which are here, you guys know that when I talk about articulation, it's only with the upper lip. If you tense your lower lip, all those muscles responsible for tensing the lower lip and engaging the lower lip and creating a text, which is not necessary, it translates into your jaw. She's a perfect example of someone who doesn't utilize that because her jaw is so expertly released. If you want to be a good singer, release your jaw, use your air. Everything else kind of falls into place. Watch. Tell me that her bottom lip does anything during this section. I dare you.
At the sound of your voice, at the moment
It's still. It's on her jaw. It's moving with her jaw, but it's still.
Out of my mind, I'm out of control.
She's articulating everything with her upper lip. Oh, hey, bud. We'll get to you in a second. Everything that's going on is in her upper lip. Her upper lip is incredibly active, incredibly, like if you look like right on her upper lip here, it's making very subtly specific
I'm
movements.
out of control, full of feelings I can't define.
Very subtly specific moments. On to our boy. On to our man.
It's a sin with no name,
Like a hand in a flame.
and our senses proclaim it's a dangerous game.
So up until now, nothing out of their range. Everything is just about emotion, character, text articulation. And they're selling it, right? Jekyll and Hyde, light and dark, good and evil. The fine line between those two, the ease in crossing it. It's awesome.
The dog
Yeah, he's not being auto-tuned here. This is raw, very well recorded, very well mixed and mastered Hank. Some other situations when they've recorded him, because he has so much timbre in his sound, which is hard to manage in a big studio recording, he has a very lovely, rich, deep timbre, right? It's hard to manage, so you can auto-tune for the sake of like limiting those resonances, making it a more simple sound that can work in a mix easier. It's kind of like a big, it's a big corporate way of approaching it. But if you want to make an art out of it, you can't do that. All right.
could dream that has no ending, that's so unreal. You believe that it's true, a dance of death out of a mystery tale. The frightened princess doesn't know what to do. Will the ghost go away? Will she will them to stay? Either way, there's no way to win.
So one of Hank's like super duper skills, or something that stands out about his voice, something that makes him such an iconic singer and so recognizable, is that he sings on such heavy vocal cords so often, which is really hard to do. I mean, needless to say, if you're trying to vibrate anything, the lighter is the easier, right? So this is what makes him a baritone, essentially. But there is a harsher occlusion than most in his chords that he's able to manage. And he's able to manage it for several observational reasons, and then I'll give some other reasons as to why he's able to manage it. But when you're watching him sing, his face is always so poised and relaxed, right? He's creating emotion with his face. He's selling us a character, but that character and those things he's doing with his eyebrows, with his forehead, it's all relaxed. Everything below his eyes are completely relaxed. Very subtle, small articulations. He's not wrenching open his mouth to create a big sound. He's not doing anything like that. The sound is resonant and rich and loud because he's singing with a relaxed vocal cord that's allowed to be thick. The thicker chord, the louder the sound, the more resonant the sound, which is hard to do, and it's hard to sustain that. Okay, so he's keeping everything very relaxed. His posture is always impeccable, which for a stage singer is hard to do because you're emoting, you're moving around, you're doing things, which makes it even more important to focus on being still within the body. That stillness is also limiting the tension that's allowing him to make amazing sounds on very thick chords. Thick chords is basically loose chords. Your vocal folds, your vocal cords are like a rubber band. The looser it is, the thicker they can be. The tighter it is, the thinner they get. And he's able to sing on very relaxed, thick chords super easily.
Out of a mystery tale, the frightened princess.
He doesn't move his lips more than like this, or his sound. His bottom lip is just as relaxed as Floor's. He's using this all just to articulate and keep the sound inside. He's creating all this sound inside the head. You don't need to bring the sound forward to create language.
Doesn't know
All
what
that.
to do.
Now, see, everything is so relaxed. He's lifting his head. It's very dramatic. He's keeping everything in line. That movement is not interfering with the sound, and he's supporting the sound internally, right? That's that internal factor I was talking about. The other thing about singing on thick chords is you need to keep air very spinny, very alive, very active and vibrant, and that all happens inside. You don't need to externalize that. As a teaching technique, many teachers and voice coaches, myself included, we use that idea of expanding the belly out for an inhale, and it stays out as you sing to support your breath, and then same thing with your back and all that stuff. That's just a feeling that we want to teach you to do as a singer. The feeling is all you need. So you don't actually need to see your belly going out. You don't need to see your back expanding. That doesn't need to make a visual motion. It's more about the feeling of that happening, which masters like Floor and Henk, they don't often show you that they're breathing. Sometimes on big heavy notes, some things in Ghost Love Score for Floor, some of those big things, you can see that breathing. And if she's wearing like a very tight outfit, men often don't wear super tight outfits. Actually, you could see this very well with Freddie Mercury singing his breathing as well, because he always wore a really tight shirt. But it's not a huge visual event when they breathe. It's subtle and internal, which is how you can stay so still and relaxed and create such efficient sound.
Will the ghost go away? Will she will them to stay? Either way, there's no way to win.
All I know is I'm lost, and I'm counting the cost. My emotions are in a spin.
Dude, this is crazy. So if you're listening to the text, Floor's character, it sounds like, I forget which one is good or evil. Can someone in chat remind me? Jekyll is evil or Hyde is evil, or vice versa? Or wait, something like that. Whichever it is, I'm pretty sure that Hank's character is... What are you chewing on? It's my dog. So Jekyll is good. So Hank is singing as Jekyll right now, and I'm pretty sure Floor's character is in love with Hyde, and Hank's character is questioning whether or not, she will make him become evil again, right? Yeah, Hyde is the dark side. So it's like it is that fine line between good and evil, and what makes this so exciting is that the ethical compromise within the characters is kind of backwards to what we as a society accept as good and bad. Floor's character is excited, and she's emoting that excitedness through her eyes and through the incredibly bright timbre she's bringing, right? So yes, it's a belty timbre, which is bright, but she's adding more bright articulation to the text, which to our ears creates this sense of anticipation and excitement. And Floor has and Hank has this sense of worry in his sound without bringing the sound too big and forward. At the end, this is still kind of like a love duet, a really messed up love duet, right? It's not messed up. It's backwards because he is worried about turning to the dark side, and she doesn't really know if she wants to go to the dark side or not. What causes her jaw to move with vibrato? It's the relaxation of the jaw that's not completely disconnected from the larynx. So while the larynx is vibrating, right, that means that the sound she's making to our ears when she's singing into a microphone sounds like regular vibrato. But that vibrato wouldn't necessarily, the way she's singing it when it involves the jaw movement, when the jaw is absorbing that vibration, it wouldn't necessarily create like the singer's formant, which is necessary to carry the voice through an orchestra. But that doesn't matter when she's singing into a microphone. So I'm not going, like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a vibratory absorption with the jaw, which allows her to be in better timbral control. She can shift timbres more easily, which many singers don't need to do, but as we know, that's a signature technique of Floor's, right? Shifting timbres in certain circumstances to match the text. So when her jaw moves with her vibrato, that's a small compromise she has to make that only would make a difference if she were singing without a microphone. So it's a non-issue here.
I don't know who to blame.
It's a crime and a shame.
But it's true all the same.
It's a dangerous game. No one speaks, not one word. But what words are in our eyes?
And now we're getting to this. I mean, this last third of the song. Hank, you're doing a great job, man. But with Floor and his voice, his voice, I shouldn't say it that way. Realistically, in this duet, Hank's character, for the time being, just sets us up for this whole wonderful, like, it gives this big bass for Floor to kind of strip down the depth of timbre and create a really shimmery, shiny, forward resonant sound. You know when she shows her teeth, when she bares her teeth, when she becomes that wolf, she creates that like crystalline knife of a belting forward sound, right? It's like, it's so gorgeous. It's the kind of thing that she would use when singing duets with Marco, because it's not a timbre that takes over the whole sonic part of the song. It doesn't take over the whole vocal timbre of the song, because she could sing full out and it would probably get it would interfere a little bit in the cross section. But the thrilling part of a duet is when both voices come together in a way that creates not technical harmony, but harmony in the sense that they contrast each other and complement each other. So there's harmony between the two vocal timbres as well as the actual pitches they're singing, right? Floor is singing in a place where Henk does not have resonance. Henk is singing in a place where Floor does not have resonance. So together, it creates a really complementary tone. Notice, you don't need to auto-tune anyone's voice to make that happen. It's happening right here, and it sounds really lovely.
Silence speaks, loud and clear. All the words we don't want to hear.
Yeah, the voices are so amazing together, right? Okay, so let's talk about covering, guys. Covering is it's an interesting idea. So I would say maybe like a third or a half of classical singers. No, Master, I'm not gonna. I don't know why I'm not gonna cut that out. It's because there needs to be a space where people can talk about it, and if this is that space, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing and let this be that space. So it's okay. Here's the thing: when Henk goes up for this. I find it. I moved my piano into the other room. I was teaching here the other day, and I moved into the living room for it. So don't have my piano on hand, but let me check out. I have a piano right here. Let's find this pitch.
Words we don't want to hear. At the touch of your hand, at the sound of your voice, at the moment your eyes meet mine, I'm losing my mind, I'm losing control, fighting feelings I can't define.
It's a sin with no
Okay, sorry, I'm going back. I'm just like captivated.
silence speaks, loud and clear.
So that's the high A, right? So for these musical theater baritone people, which Henk Poort made a career out of, right? That's, A4. So when you do that, you have to be able to sing high A's, right? That's not necessarily a big thing for classical baritones. There are a few opera arias for lyric baritone, for like Verdi-ish baritones that sing the high A. But when you're doing it in a musical theater context, which is, again, where Henk made his career, those high A's are very important, and they need to be very clear, and they don't need to be operatic. They need to be what he just did. Now, one technique that he's using to get there is covering. Covering is the concept of narrowing the vowel sound in the passaggio to get through it. One thing Henk does that a tenor wouldn't do is Henk keeps that cover and keeps that sound, the vowel sound, narrow as he goes up through his own passaggio, which I would imagine is around E flat, D, E flat, E4. So he keeps up, and that's how he gets that really strong sound. One singer that does this also is Dan Vasc, someone we've listened to a lot, is he keeps that cover going up, which then translates into a hook before he transfers into that more like rocky timbre up there, right? So regardless, the sound he's getting is because he's maintaining chest timbre only with a very narrow vowel sound that allows the air pressure to be evened out as he goes up. Tenors would open up after they get through the passaggio, but for baritone singing high notes like that, they don't do that, and that's called covering. This is an idea that's not talked about by a lot of teachers because it's kind of confusing. You think about the word cover, and a lot of people will just go, "Oh, I'm covered up," but that's not it. It's really just narrowing the vowel sound to get up there, and this goes for everyone. If you're having a tough time getting through notes for guys anywhere between like C sharp 4 to like F sharp 4, if you're having a tough time in that range, you have to make the vowel more narrow. So ah goes to ah, and o goes to o, and all that thing. You narrow it out. E goes to e, right? It narrows out, and just the vowel shape alone will allow you to get up through there. Hank does an awesome job about this by covering and then just supporting with air. As we talked about earlier, that's a huge part and a huge cornerstone of the way he's able to get so much depth and timbre into his sound. So that's a little high. But anyway, that idea, right? Keeping the vowel very narrow and just going, right? Otherwise, if I were singing that note, because I'm a tenor, I'm going to crack the shit. I haven't warmed up today. Let it go forward. Let it open up. Let it go open. But as a baritone, you got to cover it. That's an important part for any male singer to understand. If you're a baritone, you want to keep that cover going up because opening up isn't going to be so easy, especially since you sing in your lower voice so much. So, regardless, this is an awesome freeze frame, by the way. Listen to what he does. He narrows that vowel and goes up. Give it a shot. He's singing the word loud, right? If it were me singing that word loud, I'd be like, loud, loud. But what he does is loud. He covers it. That was a much better example. I'm not trying to scream a note way out of my range right now. But there you go, right? The tenors open it up forward. The baritones and the baritenors, like Hank, keep it covered. It's a really good way. We've dug into Floor's approach to this kind of thing a lot, especially when talking about her master classes. So, I'm not going to dig in too deep here, but you literally can see on Floor's face the choices she's making to keep that sound nice and bright, while Hank is keeping the sound darker, and it just complements it. Ready? And even when look at that face of terror. Even when he's singing a very vulnerably forward vowel, E. E is such a hard vowel to sing high. He's not singing a pure E. He's singing more of like a tall E. Somewhere between I and E, right? That's allowing him to do it, but he's still showing his teeth. He's still doing that acoustic work that even Floor has to do, that everyone has to do to sing. There is a system. It's not complicated. It's just hard to ingrain. It's like learning any instrument. And that's an F sharp. Again, a tenor would do it wide open. A baritone keeps it covered, doesn't open back up after the passaggio. Floor, I have a feeling this stuff is just, it's such in her range. She can play around with it, right? And we haven't talked much about Hank's voice, especially compared to the amount we've talked about Floor's voice. But let's talk a little about her, because she does some interesting stuff coming up. Notice how when the vibrato sneaks into Floor's voice, that's when she starts to open up the resonant pocket. Because in creating vibrato, if she's not already in that operatic, open, raised, soft palate resonant space, the vibrato is not going to make as much sound. You need that space, that acoustic setup before you even start to sing, to let that vibrant, released, classical type sound really have impact. So when she starts in a belt and adds that vibrato, she opens up the front of the mouth, as you would with any sort of rock pop style, to get that forward ping on the sound. So she starts it evenly with that belt timbre. Then she goes in for those. She opens her fangs. She shows her teeth. She bares those teeth. She turns into the wolf, right?
At the touch of your hand, at the sound of your voice, at the moment your eyes meet mine.
Oh, wait. Let's catch that moment.
Sound of your voice, at the moment your eyes.
Can you imagine, showing up to the party, and these two are right there at the door with this on their face? It's genius. I wonder if they probably came up with this on their own, or maybe they had maybe someone directed it, but like, what an awesome when your eyes meet, right? They're bringing you in. They're not shoving anything in this whole time during the song. They're singing to each other, and you're aware of that, right? And this is the moment when they invite you into the story, and that's what really good video content is about, is inviting you into the story, into whatever's happening. This goes for one quick segue. In the operatic world during COVID and quarantine, while things are now starting to get up back on stage, a lot of people, for the first time ever, were trying to make music with video, right? And it was a real struggle because we've always relied as opera singers on this huge area, big audience, emoting to a giant room, which doesn't work in this capacity. So we had to learn to invite people in, right? We had to learn to invite people in a very dramatic way through a box, right? You're watching this box, and I'm watching this box, and it is what it is. These are two experts that are doing this perfectly. They sell the story at the beginning, and you're looking into their window of existence as these two characters, and they're singing it. They're creating their characters vocally. They're creating them emotionally. And then because of the medium, they're not on stage, right? On stage, it's much easier to get engaged with this. If you were to go see Jekyll and Hyde on Broadway or West End or wherever, you'd be able to engage with it because it's happening right in front of you. In video, it's much more voyeuristic. So it has to be much more intentional for them to invite you in. And that's a sign of their awareness and expertise in the media and how to interact with audiences. At this level, at this superstar level of singer, it's just as much about performing the music as it is being able to exist with your audience and work with your audience to create a meaningful and valuable and incredibly thrilling musical experience. So both of them, right? Piercing eyes. I think piercing eyes is like an understatement, but I completely agree with you. This is just such a beautiful moment to kind of just pause and talk about, because when else are you going to do that, right? What an awesome moment.
At the moment your eyes meet mine, I'm losing my mind, I'm losing control, fighting feelings I can't define.
It's a sin with no name.
No remorse and no shame, fire, fury and flame.
Cast the devil to blame.
And the angels proclaim.
It's a high G for him. That's G4 for Henk. High F5 for Floor, which is we were, I think it was the Islanders Arms concert, and I was sitting there with my piano, figuring out Floor's like passaggio, and I was with Dorkney, my girlfriend. You've seen her in chat. And she was like, "Why are you doing that?" I was like, "Because Floor sings every money note for her is that F5. F5 is Floor's money note." And I'm not surprised that it's the same note she does right here.
Remorse and no shame, fire, fury and flame.
Cast the devil to blame.
And the angels proclaim.
That high note on Devils. That was an F5. It's always an F5.
It's a
Except for Ghost Looks Cool.
dangerous game.
And then as artists, and not, artists who vocally express, not they sing to express, not impress, ending this subtly, right? This incredibly sensual musical firestorm that they are creating right here is over. And there's nothing happening. The climax was reached, and then they go their separate ways as characters. And now they just whisper it away. You sing to express, not impressed. That's how you make true impact.
It's a dangerous game.
Yeah, man. That was a good one.
Hey there,
All right.
Thanks so much for watching the whole video. Before we finish up, I wanted to let you know about some big changes coming to the Big Brain Singer community. We're about to shake things up by introducing 3 new official Big Brain Singer voice coaches to our ranks. Mia.
Hey there, I'm Mia. I'm a vocal coach and I specialize in pop vocals.
Mike.
Hi there, my name is Mike. I'm a vocal coach and I specialize in rock vocals.
And Fox.
Hey, I'm Jonathan Goodwin, or Fox Speaks on Discord, and I'm a classical singer with 3 years of study. I'm continuing to take lessons. I graduated from Kentucky Wesleyan College with a voice minor, and during that time I took a vocal pedagogy course.
These 3 excellent singers and vocal coaches will be joining the Big Brain Singer community coaching team to bring you in-depth reactions and analyses for your favorite singers, along with their own live vocal instruction sessions with you. The best part is you only need to be subscribed to one channel to enjoy every professional perspective. That's this one. Along with our 3 new official voice coaches, I want to invite you personally to join the Big Brain Singer Discord server with over 1,000 other singers and music lovers like yourself. There you can take full advantage of everything our growing community has to offer. Just head over to discord.gg/bigbrainsinger where you can get to know all of us personally. The Discord server is where you'll be able to jump in and enjoy live voice clinics and reaction streams every single day of the week. So I hope you can stop by. And from the rest of us,
We can't
wait to hear you.
you.